Good afternoon, easy speakers and guests. I have been married for 43 years to the same person. And believe you me, you gotta have humor to be with someone that long. I should have known in the very beginning. Walking down the aisle on a Sunday, very prim and proper and historic, turning to my husband-to-be, preacher asking if he has my ring, and he looks at me like, "Don't you have it?" And I'm looking at him like, "Don't you have it?" It turns out that his brother had it in the audience. So that should have told me right off the bat. And another thing that should have warned me in the very beginning is he went to work on Monday. Married on Sunday, went to work on Monday. I wouldn't recommend it, but we did because we were young, in love, and silly. So I asked my husband on that Monday morning, "Sweetheart, what would you like for your first breakfast at 4:30 in the morning?" And he said, "Oh, fix me some poached eggs." What in the heck are poached eggs? I did not know. I did not know. I said, "Okay, how do you fix them?" He says, "Well, everybody knows." And I said, "I'm not everybody. I'm your new wife. Please tell me." And he said, "You get some boiling water going in a pan. You make some toast. You drop an egg in there, scoop the egg out, put it on the toast. You're good to go." And I said, "Okay, I can do that." So guess what I did? I put some bread in the toaster, got the pan boiling full of water, cracked the egg, put it in there, immediately scooped it out. That's what he said to do. He did. And then I plopped it on the toast, put it before him, and he looked at it, he looked at me, and quite honestly, it looked like something that you would blow in a tissue. But I thought, if he likes it, he likes it, because he's Italian French. Italian French have a weird way of eating things. And I told him, I said, "Well, I did exactly what you told me. Boiling water, drop the egg, scoop it out, put it on toast, here you go." He says, "Grace, you need to cook it for at least 6 minutes, at least." And I said, "Okay, I'll do that next time." So obviously he went home hungry. He went to work hungry. But I had a nice big lunch for him, which was a sandwich, a bag of chips, and a soda. Mistake number 2 on the first day of being married. He came home and said, "Okay, what was the lunch about?" And I said, "Sandwich, chips, and a soda. Isn't that what we do?" He says, "Not me, dear. I want a salad, and I want juice, and I want a dessert." Really? Okay. What kind of dessert? Homemade. Really? I never had desserts unless it was a holiday at my home. So this was something new for me. So I pulled out the Betty Crocker cookbook, started going through it, and decided to make a pie. Because I remember when we were dating, he loved pies. Any kind of pie, as long as there was a crust on it, right? Okay. So I'm going through there, and I decide to make an apple pie. I walked to the store, got my apples and all the other ingredients, came back home and started making the pie that afternoon for the next day. It seemed to be very successful. So the next day, we didn't have any Tupperware or any of that kind of a container, so I cut him a generous piece of pie and put it in a wax bag, which was popular then. There was no Ziplocs. And his salad, which was in a wax bag. And the juice, I put it in a paper cup with a lid. All right, put it in a bag and gave it to him. Wow. I later was told that the juice in the cup fell out in the car, and the lid came off, and the juice was all over the car. And when he opened the wax bag that had the apple pie, it was a real thin pizza. And the salad somehow was okay, so he was able to get nutrition in him some way. But I want to tell you, back then I was devastated, but now it's totally funny, believe you me. Funny like the day we brought our new child home. Oh my gosh, here we are. I was 19, husband was 20, new baby boy, brought him home, put him in the bassinet, and I was looking at this little being so precious and new and such a marvel. And I panicked. I looked at my husband and I said, "Did you get the warranty and the instructions?" And he said, "No." And I said, "We have to return him and get that." And he says, "Well, since you brought up that kind of thing, I did notice that he didn't have any teeth." And I says, "Yeah." And he says, "So should we talk about baby dentures or something for him, because he's gonna have to eat?" And I looked at him and I couldn't believe it, because it was funny. It was funny, and I laughed at him. And he says, "Well, what? He's defective." And I said, "No, he's not defective. They get teeth later on." He was serious. I wasn't serious about the warranty instructions, really I wasn't. But he swears today that I was serious. So I want to tell you, being married for 43 years, every day has been an adventure. Sometimes not so good, sometimes great. But I'm still learning today how to make those pies. I'm an expert at poached eggs. We have them every Saturday morning. And I now have a nice collection of Tupperware. Thank you.